What's up, Bishop Series here. Now, here is my throwback segment where I talk about the film. Now, before I mostly been talking about films that chose 10, 20, and 30, but now I'm going to amp up this starting this week, where I'm now talking about films that turns 10, 20, 30, and even 40. I should have done this like at the beginning of the year, but I didn't really do all of it. So, of course, 10, 20, 30, and now 40 here. So the films now I'm only just talking about one film that turns 10 this week, and that is The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Of course, this was the follow-up and pretty much the last Andrew Garfield-led Spider-Man film. Of course, Andrew Garfield reprised his role again in No Way Home. But of course, we ended up having The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which, while nowhere near as good as the first Amazing Spider-Man, I still thought the sequel was really decent. I mean, could have done without the Rhino scene. But I thought Jamie Foxx, as Electro was really cool. Seeing like Dane DeHaan as like the new Green Goblin was pretty cool too. I mean, I know this gets like lots of hate and all, but I didn't mind the Amazing Spider-Man 2. So yeah, I kind of wish we ended up having a third Andrew Garfield Spider-Man film, but hey, at least we got him back for No Way Home, right? So that's cool, I guess. All right. Films turning 20 this week. Oh boy, I cannot believe this one turns 20, and that is 2004's Mean Girls. Definitely one of the best teen comedies of all time. You had Lindsay Lohan, Rachel McAdams, our prime. Of course, we just had the Mean Girls, like the Mean Girls musical film that just came out. And while that is still pretty decent, nothing beats the OG Mean Girls. You know, again, one of the best teen comedies there is. Directed by Mark Waters, who gave us stuff like Freaky Friday, Bad Santa 2. I mean, 10 years ago this week, we were introduced to the plastics. And this movie, like the original Mean Girls, obviously is one of those quotable films of all time. Lots of people, lots of people quote this film to this day. Whether it's like stop trying to make fetch happen and she doesn't even go here and stuff like that. I mean, some most iconic characters too. It's a shame we never really got to see an actual sequel with Lindsay and them all coming back. We had that home video sequel, which we don't talk about. But of course, it was really cool to see like pretty much see the some of the characters back for that Walmart holiday commercial thing. That was really cool. But yeah, Mean Girls is definitely one of the best there is. So if you guys never seen it, let's be for who's never seen Mean Girls by now. But for some other reason you've never seen it, it's on Paramount Plus. It's a movie that still holds up to that. All right. Now films, other films celebrating their 20th anniversary. We got the Ben Stiller and Jack Black film called Envy. Now, this film is, of course, directed by Barry Levinson, who gave us films like Diner, along with Sarah Gilbert, Micah Shane. Oh, wait, reading the wrong one. I meant to say it has like Christopher Walken, him, who has a chance to invest in Vaporizer, a venture by his best friend Nick, played by Jack Black. While the details are very sketchy, Nick claims that it's a chemical that can make any substance like disappear here. And I mean, Jack Black and Ben Stiller, obviously those two play off each other really well. Of course, they will go on to work together again in Tropic Thunder. But to be honest, this what I was never found this like never found this should be all that funny, despite Ben Stiller and Jack Black being comedy superstars. Even like their humor didn't really do anything like for me here. Like I just didn't really find this movie all that funny. A little boring at times. Not a fan of the script. I mean, yeah, Ben Stiller has been some really great stuff as well as Jack Black, but this definitely is not one of them. All right. Also turning 20, we got Laws of Attraction, which stars the likes of Pierce Brosnan and Julianne Moore, and it's directed by Pierre Howard, who also gave us John in English and Sliding Doors. It stars Julianne Moore as well as Audrey Woods and Pierce Brosnan as as Daniel Rafferty, who are rival divorce lawyers who are complete opposite. She relies on the law while he relies on personalities. They are hired to represent opposing sides of a celebrity divorce case involving a rock star, Parker Poser, and a custody dispute over an Irish castle. And this was actually a pretty charming little film. The chemistry between like Pierce Brosnan and Julianne Moore is pretty decent. Micah Sheen's really good. I mean, it's a really nice little flick if you guys haven't seen it. All right, also turning 20, we got Bobby Jones' Stroke of Genius, which is a biopic directed by Roadhouse, the original Roadhouse director, Rowdy Harrington, starring Jim Caviezel, who of course is best known for playing Jesus in Passion of the Christ, along with Claire Filoni, Aidan Quinn, Malcolm McDowell, Bubba Lewis. The film is based on the life of golfer Bobby Jones, the only player in the sport to win all four of the men's major golf championships in a single season in 1930, an era when the major were the amateur championship in Britain, the U.S. Amateur, the Open Championship, and the U.S. Open. And of course, Jim Caviezel at the time was pretty popular, thanks to because of course he was like Jesus in Passion of the Christ, and most recently he was just in Sounds of Freedom last year. He's always really good when he pops up and stuff. And some really decent supporting players here. Jim Caviezel was also in The Count of Monte Cristo as well. He sometimes always gets flack because of like his Christianity and stuff like that, but he's still a really good actor. And here he was pretty decent in this. I mean, it really showcased who Bobby Jones was. This type of triumph he went through. It's a really decent film if you guys haven't seen it. All right, also turning 20, we got Godsend, starring Greg Kinnear, Robert De Niro, directed by Nick Hand, and it follows a couple played by Greg Kinnear and Rebecca Romijn, who are approached by an enigmatic doctor played by Robert De Niro, who offers to clone their deceased son. And this is actually, I mean, this is not really that great a film, to be honest. Yeah, Greg Kinnear is always great, Robert De Niro, but it's not really that memorable, to be honest. It's a little dumb at times. Nothing about it really makes too much sense here. Not really that good of film there. All right. Now, films turning 30 this week. We got PCU, which stars Jeremy Piven. And it's also written by Zach Penn and directed by Hurt Bachner. You also had like a very young Jon Favreau, which, funny enough, because Jon Favreau was also in Iron Man, which I believe like Zach Penn actually worked on the script for, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, he did direct Iron Man too. But you also had David Spade, George Clinton, Jessica Walter. And you guys don't know much about the story here. It's about college life at a fictional Port Chester University and represents an aggravated view of contemporary college life. Of course, you got like Jeremy Piven, who this was obviously before Entourage fame kicked in, and he was pretty decent in this. David Spade was pretty good. Really fun, like college based comedy from the 90s, and really decent flick if you guys haven't seen that. All right, what's the trend? Dirty, probably the best film on the 30-year one list. When a Man Loves a Woman, which of course stars Meg Ryan as well as Andy Garcia. And if you guys don't know much about the story in this, it's where a wife and a mother of two daughters, Alice Green, played by Meg Ryan, has developed a severe drinking problem, while her husband Michael, played by Andy Garcia, has been patient in dealing with this issue. It soon becomes clear that he has been enabling her alcoholism. When her addiction drains the children's safety, Alice decides to enter a rehab clinic. Upon returning, she finds that her new lifestyle causes an unexpected rift with Micah. Now, this movie is terrific. Really showcase on how great Meg Ryan is. Because whenever you think of Meg Ryan, you always think of her, rom-coms with Tom Hanks or Billy Crystal or anything like that. But When a Man Loves a Woman is maybe one of her best performances she's ever done. I don't think it's her best film. That would probably go to maybe You Got Mail or When Harry Met Sally. But if I had to say her best performance, this would definitely be it. Definitely even Oscar contender too. And the one who played the little girl in this, like her young daughter, Tina Majorano, I think her name is. Believe it or not, you know what else she was also in that I'll probably be talking about a couple of weeks later. She was actually in Napoleon Dynamite. She played, I forgot the girl's name, but she played like Napoleon's sort of like girlfriend, or I should say Pedro's girlfriend, or whatever, who takes who goes on a date with Pedro. Like, she was actually the little girl in this, which I always like used to forget about. But of course, Andy Garcia is great in this. I mean, it's a really good film if you guys haven't seen that. All right, now another film that turns dirty, which I forgot to put in the description list, is a movie called With Honors. Now, this movie stars Brendan Fraser as Harvard University student who finds himself at the mercy of the demands of a homeless man, played by Joe Pesci, when he holds his senior desk's paper hostage. You also had the likes of Patrick Dempsey. Gore Vidal was also in this. And it's a really good film. Joe Pesci and Brendan Fraser both had really terrific performances. They really play off each other well. Just think now, two of the stars here are now Oscar winners, by the way. Of course, Joe Pesci won his Oscar for Goodfellas, and Brendan Fraser will go on to win his Oscar for The Whale. So just think that the two stars in this are now Oscar winning actors. Of course, Patrick Dempsey is great. It's a really decent film. Great performances all around. So if you guys have not seen With Honors, it's really decent, very touching, really good film, very underrated too. Like, whenever you think of Joe Pesci, you always think obviously Home Alone, Goodfellas, Casino. This is maybe one that always flies under the radar for people, but it's a really good one. All right. Also turning dirty, we got The Favor. We're best friends, Kathy and Emily, played by Holly Jane Kozak and Elizabeth McGarner, are having desperate relationship trouble. Kathy is pretty much growing bored with her comfortable married life with husband Pierre, played by Bill Palmer. While Emily is also tired of unstable arrangement with drifter artist Elliot, played by Brad Pitt. And of course, when Kathy hears her old fame Tom, played by Ken Wall, will be attending their high school reunion. She asks Emily to seduce him and see what she's missing out on here. It's also directed by Donna Petrie, who gave us like Miss Congeniality. I believe he did Mystic Pizza, if I'm not mistaken, too. And it's a really decent little film. Bill Palmer is pretty good. The score by Thomas Newman is really good. Not really too memorable, but I remember watching this like decades ago and stuff. It's a really decent one. All right. We also got film titled No Escape, not to be confused with the with that Owen Wilson and Pierce Brosnan thriller that came out years ago. No Escape stars the late great Ray Liotta, along with Lance Henriksen, as well as Kevin Dillon and Ernie Hudson, and is based on the 1987 novel. As a dystopian, it takes place in dystopian future, where former Renaissance Marine serves life imprisonment on an island inhabited by savage and cannibalistic prisoners. And this is a really decent one. Ray Leo obviously was pretty great. Lance Henriksen's really good too. So yeah, very interesting, like survival based film too. So not a bad one. All right. Oh, and by the way, it was also directed by Mark Campbell, who gave us like Casino Royale. He also gave us Green Lantern. So a bit of a hit miss director there. All right. Also turning dirty, we got Widow's Peak, which stars Natasha Richardson, R.I.P., along with Joan Plowright and Mia Farrow, as well as Jim Broadbent, where the elegant Edwina Broom, played by Richardson, moves to Kilshannon, a small town in Ireland. She must contend with the local matriarchs, particularly the feisty Mrs. Doyle Conan, played by Joan Plowright, and the guarded Miss Catherine O'Hara, played by Mia Farrow, who immediately clash with the new arrival. And of course, Natasha Richardson, who's been in some really great stuff before her passing. She was actually married to Liam Neeson, but she also appeared in stuff like The Parent Trap. I mean, R.I.P. Natasha Richardson was always amazing. Joan Plowright was pretty good in this too. Uh, Jim Broadbent's always great. Really decent little film if you guys haven't seen that one. All right. Now, films turning 40 this week. Boy, lots of good ones here. We, of course, got the John Hughes classic 16 Candles. Of course, starring Molly Ringwald, Anthony Michael Hall, Paul Dooley, John Cusack, Michael Stofani. And of course, you have Samantha, played by Molly Ringwald, who faces her 16th birthday with typical adolescence dread. And Samantha pines for her study older boy played by named Jake, played by Michael Stofingling. But of course, worries that her chastity will also be turned off for the popular singer. And she, of course, constantly rebuffed the affections of nerdy Ted, played by Anthony Michael Hall, and the only boy in the school, fortunately, who seems to take an interest in her. And of course, this has the iconic, kissing scene between Molly Ringwald. Uh, and it's a really classic John Hughes film. I mean, it's not my favorite film of his. That will obviously go to Breakfast Club, but 16 Candles, was really like one of the most quintessential teen movies of the 80s. I mean, the 80s, of course, had like some iconic teen movies. Whether you talk about Ferris Bueller, uh, Breakfast Club, like who doesn't love the 80s teen movies and 16 Candles is a terrific one. Really charming. Lots of people that you'll know today, like Joan Cusack was in this, John Cusack, uh, Paul Dooley's always great. I mean, it's a really decent little film. It's a really decent, charming John Hughes film. R.I.P. John Hughes. All right. Also turning 40, we got The Bounty, directed by Roger Donaldson, who also gave us movies like No Way Out and Cocktail. And it stars Anthony Hopkins as Captain Bligh, struggles to restore discipline among the crew of the HMS Bounty after the ship has an extended furlough in Tahiti. Tahiti. After the captain does out flagging and other physical punishment, the crew monies led by Bligh's former close friend Fletcher Christian, played by Mel Gibson, unable to return to the tropical paradise. They pretty much find themselves stranded while Bly and faithful crew members embark on a dangerous journey to the Dutch East Indies. Now, of course, you had like the chemistry, of course, you had Mel Gibson and Anthony Hopkins both teaming up together. They really play off each other very well here. It's a really decent flick. Great performances by Mel Gibson and Anthony Hopkins. Roger Donaldson did a great job with this, so not a bad film there. All right. Also turning on 40, we got Breakin, which starred a very young Ice T. It's where Kelly, who's a classically trained jazz dancer, who's tired of warding off her enormous teachers and hungry for a new outlet. When like the best friends street dancers Ozone uh, and Turbo, who are played by Adolphe Shaba du Quinos and Michael Boogaloo Chambers. She's pretty much blown away by their unique and original moves. And she pretty much seems like volunteers to help them defeat the rival group of dancers. This is pretty much like, let's say, You Got Served of the 80s. Of course, like I say, you had a very young Ice T in this. You also had some other cast of characters. They also did, like, I believe they did a sequel, if I'm not mistaken, too. Uh, but the first Breakin is a really decent dance based film. Really cool 80s dance style music. I mean, who doesn't love 80s music, right? I mean, if you guys have never really seen Breakin, give it a go. It's a really decent one. Like, really cool choreography. I mean, of course, at the time, there was lots of really cool dance based films. You know, obviously, whether you talk about the 70s with Grease, or whether you talk about, like, what else? Oh yeah, Fame. That's a really, like, this really definitely was very similar to Fame as well. So If you guys never seen Breakin, give it a go. It's a really good one. But that's pretty much it there. Let me leave you guys. Which of these films stand out to you the most? To me, the 10-year one is obviously going to go to Amazing Spider-Man 2. The 20-year one, I'm going to go with obviously Mean Girls, When a Man Loves a Woman, but I'm actually going to say with Honors. That's actually the better film on that list. And the 40-year one is, of course, 16 Candles. Anyway, drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notification. This is Simon Zion.